What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. On the previous episode, we obviously have received the 300ZX in for a full paint job. As you see, we kind of got the car completely broken down, all the doors off, rear bumper, front bumper, fenders, the wiring harnesses inside the doors, because if you're painting the inside of the doors, inside of the trunk, underside of the hood, you're going to need to strip those panels completely down to metal, so that way you don't get overspray on anything. It's less hard to run tape and whenever you're taping off the holes and whatnot. We also did some body work. We got a couple panels to primer. We were just trying to get a head start. So on this video, I want to go in depth with fixing some of these rust patches, these rust holes. So as you can see down here, got a pretty big rust patch down here on this rear quarter here. So we're gonna get that cut out, get a new piece of metal in there, and show you kind of from square one how to do your body work. We also saved a couple fender panels over here. Just set them down on the ground here. But there's we marked all the dents on the last episode, just kind of went through, taught you guys what this wonderful tool is used for here, so that way you can kind of see the lines, see if there's any dents. So we kind of went through all that last episode, got everything marked up. So now that it's all marked up, I'll show you how to kind of repair those hard to see dents. Step one, you're going to need definitely a sheet of metal. Make sure it's weldable metal. You don't want to use galvanized. So we got this here. Where'd you get this, Brandon?
Lowe's.
Got it from Lowe's. Okay. How much?
$60.
Yeah. So it's not too expensive, but this should be able to do this patch. We got a pretty bad rust patch down here. We're gonna have to work. And then on the other side, kind of in the same area, it's not near as bad. We got a little bit right here. That's more surface though, so we're not really gonna have to cut that out, I don't think. We'll have to grind it down and see how malleable that metal is still. And we got this down here. It's still pretty solid, but I think we'll just cut that out and fix that as well. So, all right, I'm gonna get my tools together, and then we'll get back to you guys once I get all the tools gathered and get everything prepped and ready to go. All right, so first step that I wanna do is I wanna get this cleaned down to bare metal just so I can see how much we need to cut out. So I'm just gonna use a 36, I think this is 36, flap disc, Harbor Freight. Don't need anything expensive. Okay, I'm gonna raise it a little bit just so it's a little easier. If you don't have a lift, you can totally do this on jack stands, but I'm a little bougie now that I got a lift, so. So now what I'm gonna do is clean this of all debris just so I can get a better understanding of where that rust lies. So this one doesn't look that bad at all, actually. So you can kind of see where like the rust protrudes. There's some spots there. So I wanna make sure I wanna cut that out as well. So I might even grind down this a little more so that way we can get a good tack in there. can definitely tell a lot of the difference from like rusty metal to like good metal. Like this is solid. How shiny it is. So I always want to cut, like make the cuts as easy as possible. So I really want to like focus on getting like a good square piece out of there. All right, so I grabbed a Sharpie real quick. I'm using like a little notepad. Now if you have like smaller pieces of this metal stuff, you could use that as well. Just anything really round that you can flex around the body. That's the biggest thing. You want to be able to flex it so that you can find that curvature. So I want to go probably inch and a half outside of where the rust is. So if you look here, there's still a little rust protrusion right here. Just kind of see it right there. I just want to mark out where my rust protrusion is. That way you can kind of see. That's where all like the weaker metal is, all the way through. So, you know, once I have that marked out, I can kind of gauge the highest point here. I'm just gonna run it a little bit above. Doesn't have to be a perfect square, but because we're basically when this is cut out, I'll take like a piece of paper, like just regular printer paper, and I'll put it behind there. What I'll do is I'll draw this out again after I cut, and then from there that will tell me, because since this is curved, right, so since this is like curved like this, whenever you put that paper in there and you curve that paper and you draw the line, whenever you flatten it out, it'll always be bigger than what you expect. So I'll put that paper in there, trace it out, and then I'll use scissors and just cut it out. And then that will make my template so that we can cut out a template out of this sheet metal here to put inside of there. All right, so pull that up real quick. Probably really echoey with it down. You also want to be cautious of like the depth that you go in when you start to cut it out, because as you can see under here, like these are all layered with different metals all the way behind. Okay, so you can see there. So if I can look here, it's to about here deep. So I just want to be conscious when I'm going in with this cutting wheel, knowing what depth I'm going into. Always wear your safety mask. So I just wanted to get a nice little piece started so that way this blade just kind of falls into place. So whatever is easiest for you, if it's going like this or sideways, however, you just want to get it to where that blade cuts into that line at first, and then that way it can go in and you'll be able to feel the depth with your hands. Careful, because it's going to be hot. You can see all this rust that keeps falling in there. Now honestly, this is a pretty typical Nissan thing, even in like the 240 SXs, those normally rust from the inside outwards. So what I'll do here, you notice that there's like surface rust in here. We'll run some like, it's called Rust Mort, and it just helps prevent rust inside of panels. So I'll run some Rust Mort there. Grab a file, and I'm going to file down these edges really good so that way it doesn't stab anybody. So I'm going to go grab a file, I'll get some Rust Mort, and we'll just do some rust prevention for inside of there.
All right. So to make our template for the body shape, all you need is a piece of copy paper, a pencil, and some tape. Any tape works fine. So what you need to do is take a piece of paper, put it on there like that, however it is, make it fit. Get a piece of tape. Just tape your piece of paper on there. Best you can. Well, that's fine. Now you just take your pencil, feel where it's at, and now you just start tracing it by just making a shade. And then it'll make a dark line wherever it is. You don't have to put a lot of pressure either. Boom. Now we have our shape.
Alright, so to cut it out, after you get it marked up, you're just going to grab this cutting wheel, and we'll just cut it out with this.
Now guys, we need to deburr this.
Okay, now you're going to turn this on. Okay, now you're going to turn this on. Bird. Now what we can do is use I use it like a dent puller, and I'll tack that dent puller on so I can pull it, and then that way I can weld.